What's up, Pokeball Nation? It's your host, Poke, right here with
The bull right here. Let's get this money. Let's go. We're gonna do this mock draft right here.
Do It. So we're
Right?
doing a collaboration mock draft. Bull right there is gonna do the odd picks, and I'm gonna do the even picks. So we'll get this started with the Hawks at number one. Bull, let's hear it.
All right, the Atlanta Hawks. I think this is a team that is going to have a lot of action in free agency and before the draft. I definitely think they need a center, and their biggest need, the safest pick, would be Alex Sarr. However, I feel like they've been more interested in Risache here, and I think they're going to mess it up. And I think they're going to take Risache here at one, and I do think that they're going to trade away the Clint Capella contract because it's an expiring deal. I think they are going to split up the Murray Young backcourt. I
Mhm.
think they go Risache and Panic here.
Yeah. And I will say, I don't know if it's a full panic. I'm honestly not high on anyone in this class, especially the top two guys that everyone's talking about. And they do have Onyeka Kongwu, so maybe that's why they don't want to go with Sar. I just think it's whatever they prefer. I'm not high on either of them. I think
Either.
both are could be bust. I would not be shocked
It
about that.
wouldn't shock me either. He has very high bust potential, and
Hmm.
I'm not sure if a Congo can be like a legit guy that can play like 30 minutes and
Yeah.
get an average like a double for you. I think he could be a good guy off the bench. I'm not sure if he can be that starter that they desperately need.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
you got number two, man. You
yeah, the
got
Washington Wizards, and I mean, if you look at their roster, it is dog poo. It is bad. Um, I'm gonna go with Alex R here. He's a guy that a lot of people think should go number one. I'm not as high on him, but we're gonna go with Alex R. They also have Bilal Koulibaly, who I believe were they teammates back in
no.
France last year? No?
I don't think so. I don't think he played from because Bilal was Wemby's teammate. He was a
Yeah,
Wemby.
I thought
I'm not.
they
I don't think Sarr played for Mets '92. I
gotcha.
think he did.
But you get the French duo right there with Bilal
Yeah.
Koulibaly and Alex R. So we'll have that going for them.
I think that would be good for them, honestly. I think it would speed up their rebuild a little bit. Because they definitely need every single position, and
Hmm.
they're not very good. They're just lacking talent.
Yeah.
So number
Agree.
three is the Houston Rockets, and that's my team right there. I'm a huge Rockets fan. You can tell I got that right there. My boy Alpi. They could get a big. They could get a big right here. They could get Donovan Clingan possibly. They could emphasize shooting, which is a big need for them as well. They could take a Reed Shepard, or they can even take a guy like a Matas Buzelis or even a Ron Holland or someone like that. But
Mhm.
and for this particular draft here, I think they're going to emphasize on shooting, and they definitely need some kind of shooter, and because they were near the bottom in 3-point percentage, so I think they take Reed Shepard here. I think this is a guy that can really shoot the rock. As we saw in college, he had some really good moments at Kentucky, and this is a guy. He's actually not a bad defender, even though he has a lack of size.
Yeah.
I think he could be a good fit
Mhm.
with all these playmakers that they have.
Yeah, I've had that mocked for y'all for a while now. I
Hmm.
just think you need to find someone that specializes in something.
Hmm.
And the Rockets, they need shooting, and there's not a better shooter in this class than Reed Shepard. So why
I
not
agree.
just go with him? He's one of the safer picks in this draft too, so I like that
Yeah,
pick.
I like it too. I think it would really help us a lot.
Hmm.
So you got
Number
San Antonio at
four,
4.
yeah, number four, San Antonio. I've had Nikola Topic mocked here for a while, but with his injury news, even though I'm not that concerned with his injury, I've been seeing a lot of people freak out about it. So I'm not gonna have him going number four here. I'm actually going with another point guard, one of the best defending point guards in this draft in Stephon Castle. He said that from like a month ago, Stephon Castle's camp was very adamant that they were only wanting to be drafted by a team that didn't have a true point guard. And it made it sound like he was pushing for the Spurs. But I was like, oh, it's still gonna be Topic for the Spurs. But now
They
I
could
think
get both.
I think that pushing for the Spurs is gonna happen, and Stephon Castle goes number 4.
I can see it too. I have that mocked as well
Mhm.
yesterday. I think this makes a lot of sense because he can definitely be an elite defender for a point guard. And if he can improve that outside shot, man, he can be one of the best two-way players in this draft.
For
And
sure.
so at number 5, we got the Detroit Pistons. And the Pistons, they've had this number 5 pick, I think, for the last, this is the third time in a row that they've had the
Yeah,
5
they
pick.
went Ivy,
And
Asor, and now
uh,
whoever you have here.
yeah, like, they've had some of the worst luck in the lottery.
And
And now
back to
they
back
just
years
fired Monty
projected to be
Williams.
one.
They're just a mess, honestly, as an organization. But what Detroit needs here is they need some guy on the wing that can play, that can hoop. And I know this guy isn't the best shooter in this draft class, but his potential is so high.
The
And
thing
I
is,
remember what
I
this
think I
guy
know.
if I had, if I could shoot, if I shot better, I would be the number 1 pick in this draft
Yeah.
class. And that is Modest Buzelis out of the G League. I'm telling you, the kid has a lot of potential. And
Hmm.
if he does anything, if he improves that shot, I mean, already got Cade Cunningham who's gonna create and make plays, and he's gonna kick it out to him, and he's gonna make some plays here. So they really don't have much shooting because Asor is not a great shooter. Jaden Ivey is streaky at best, and their big men aren't that great either. I think Buzelis would be a nice pick here.
Yeah. And if I remember right, he was actually a pretty good shooter in high school. So that shows that he has the potential. It might have just been a bad year in the G League, which many players have had bad years on the G League night. Looking back at Jaden Hardy being one
Yeah.
of them a couple years ago. So
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah,
think that is
Julie
the end
Knight's
all
not
be
very
all
good
for
either.
yeah.
Yeah, they've had a rough year. I mean, I think
Mhm.
they went like 2-20 or something like that. It
Yeah.
was like awful.
Well,
So you got
you're playing
Charlotte at
against
6.
men with 18-year-olds, it's gonna be tough. You know?
Yeah, I'd rather play G League Knight than overtime elite. So like,
Yeah, true. You're balling against 16-year-olds there.
right. All right, you got Charlotte at 6.
But yeah, for the Pistons, I would definitely think they're kind of down to 3 players. Stephon Castle as one of them,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Matas Buzelis, or Dalton Connect. I think those are the 3 players to keep an
Yeah,
eye on for number 5. And
I
I
can see
have
that.
Buzelis as well, so that's a good pick.
Yeah.
Number 6 for the Charlotte Hornets. I'm between 2 players right here. Either Donovan Clingan or Rob Dillingham are the 2 players I'm looking at. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
just looking at their lineup. I love Amari Bailey, although he didn't really receive that much playing time
Mm-hmm.
for the Hornets. And then for big men, I mean, you got Mark Williams, but you don't have really anyone else. And
Right.
yesterday I did a mock draft and I had Rob Dillingham.
I
But
had him too.
I just have a gut feeling about a change here, and I'm going to
Okay.
go with Donovan Clingan. I would personally take Dillingham, but I think they're going with Clingan, who I'm not that high on personally.
Look, I don't mind the pick. They definitely need a big man, but I'm concerned with LaMelo Ball's health, and I
Mhm.
think if you draft Rob Dillingham, you have at least an insurance policy,
Exactly.
which would probably be the smart thing to do. I would wait on a big man or draft or acquire one in free agency.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, something about my gut telling me it's going to be Clingan now. So
That's fair.
Blazers at pick 7, man.
The Blazers, I think this is a team that I don't think they're gonna take a guard here, and I think they already have a lot of guards. They drafted Scoot Henderson last year. You just have to hope that Shaden Sharp gets healthy. Anthony Simons is actually not a bad player as well at the point at the guard position. I do think they can trade away Jeremy Grant. I can see them moving off that contract. I can possibly also see them trade away DeAndre Ayton too. I mean, I think they need to get younger. They need to rebuild, and I think I think they're gonna take Ron Holland out of the G League Ignite. I think this is a guy that can really defend on the wings. Probably one of the better defenders in this draft class. It's not a great shooter like some of these other guys in this draft class as well, but if he can improve that, and it's gonna be a fun team to watch in Portland. With a nice little young core that they have. I think Holland would be a nice pick here.
Yeah, I like this fit. Yesterday in my mock draft, I had Klingon, but I had Ron Holland falling to them at, I think, pick 14 or something. Um, so I do like the Ron Holland fit with Portland. It just depends on if Klingon's available. Can they land both, or do they have to go with Holland here at 7? So I do like that pick though.
I do too.
So pick 8 with San Antonio, and I know Bull mentioned earlier about possibly pairing up Stefan Castle with Nikola Topic. And I think that's an interesting fit. It's definitely a possibility. But I think that the Spurs might want to go with an instant spark plug who can score on the wing position alongside Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson. I think that's definitely you need another wing to come off the bench or have Vassell or Keldon go off the bench, but it's gonna make it where the offense is very deadly if you get another of those. And Dalton Connect, I just see possibly being a San Antonio Spur. I really like that fit there.
I like Dalton Knecht. He's one of my favorite prospects
Mhm.
in this draft class.
For
Guy can
sure.
do it all, man. I like his shooting ability. He's got some decent size for a wing, and he definitely has more experience.
Hmm.
Definitely a guy I would not shy away from.
Yeah,
And number 9, Memphis. And Memphis, I had them taking Donovan Clingan. I think this is a team that could possibly trade up to
yep,
get Donovan Clingan because I think they need a big man that has some muscle. Because I don't trust Triple J being a center guarding some of these bigger guys like Embiid and Jokic. I don't trust them.
yeah.
I don't trust them in that situation. But I think with the Grizzlies, I think what they really need is depth. To be honest with you, because I think they have a nice starting five when healthy. Because when John Morant's out there, Desmond Bain, that's a great backcourt, right? And I think that if they can add another scorer, that can give like a spark off the bench or something, I think Rob Dillingham would be a great fit at 9. To come off that bench, or maybe even start at the 2 and move Desmond Bain to the 3, and they can have no kind of drop off when one of those guys go to the bench.
I do
And
like that fit
I
too.
think this is a good pick for them here.
And
And he
he's
can
used
score,
to come,
man. He's good.
he's already shown that he's all right coming off the bench. Back in Kentucky, he was coming
Yeah,
off the bench. So
yeah,
maybe he can be that Lou Williams type
he could
player,
be.
who, yeah, he's good enough to start, but coming off the bench might
Yeah,
be worth it.
yeah, I like that. That's a good point you brought up.
Hmm.
And yeah, like even Reed Shepherd came off the bench too.
Yeah.
Like those are guys that are willing to come off the bench. They're not afraid of that because they did it in college themselves and they were perfectly okay with it. And they still contributed and they found ways to contribute.
Yeah, for sure.
So
And
who do your Jazz take, man?
just got a alert, and Mikal Bridges just went to the Knicks.
Wait, what? Mikal
Mikal
Bridges
Bridges
traded?
just the Knicks are literally Villanova, man.
Oh my God. Who'd they give up? What did they give up?
Boyan Bogdanovic and picks to the Nets for Mikal Bridges.
Oh yeah, the Nets needed some kind of picks because Houston has the Nets picks for the next 4 years.
Hmm.
So I guess that helps.
Yeah.
But
I
they
don't know
really
if
didn't give
it's
up much to get them.
I
Like,
mean Knicks have back-to-back picks in the first round, so
are
I
some of those
wonder if
going to
it's
Brooklyn
those
or
picks.
are some of those going to Brooklyn? Maybe one of them goes to
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
I'll figure it out so we can make sure this draft is based on that.
Oh wow,
Uh,
that's like breaking news right there.
dude, I got that alert and I'm like, oh
Well,
my,
you already know that team chemistry already is at 100.
dude,
Like already,
they're
like you don't even
literally
have to play a
Villanova.
game yet, and like so they can still keep OG as well, like because like he declined his player option,
Hmm.
like He's gonna resign. He's gonna come back and play with Bridges too. I mean,
My goodness.
that would be nasty though. I
What
mean, you
a
have two of the
great
best 3-and-D wings in the entire league,
to
and
think this
they're
is a
and they're
video
durable.
too.
I mean, come on.
To think this is a video as well, and that alert just came up.
Wow.
Perfect.
I didn't even know.
Uh, but
So who are your Jazz taking then?
yeah, this is my team, the Utah Jazz, and I really think a guard is a must here. I really love Keontae George, who we got last year, but I still
Mm,
think we need a guard, and um, I just think depth in the guard position's a must. You could also go small forward as well, but looking at how this draft has gone, I see one of the safest picks available in Devin Carter, an elite defender, and he's
mhm,
got a lot of maturity. And the last time a Providence guard was taken so early, you know who it
mhm.
was?
First time.
Chris Dunn, and look who is on the Utah Jazz. Chris
First
Dunn.
time.
We're
Uh,
going with Devin Carter from Providence here. I
yeah.
love the fit, man.
I do too. I had him mocked here
Hmm.
yesterday, and I think Devin Carter could be the best, one of the best two-way players in this draft. Already, like you said, he's a elite defender. He really improved his three-point shot last season in college, and he was bombing some deep threes. I mean, he hit some huge shots for that Providence team last year. And I will say, if they get any kind of production like that, I mean, this would really help Utah a lot with the depth.
For sure.
I like the fit.
I did too. And him alongside Keontae George, you got um the offense in Keontae George and then the defense with Devin Carter. And then you also have Colin Sexton, who is very offensive oriented, kind of
Mhm.
balances things out, which is much needed. Our front court is already defensive oriented with Walker Kessler. We kind of need that defense
Yeah.
in the back court too.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a great fit. I would say that would be an A pick for y'all
Yeah.
if you win them. So I
Chicago
got
Bulls.
Chicago, and Chicago, I think they already traded for Josh Giddey, and they lost Alex Caruso. Okay, and now what? I think they're going to trade away Zach LaVine. I think they have to get rid of that contract. It's one of the worst contracts in the entire league,
Hmm.
and the guy just cannot stay healthy. I think they need to trade away Wonka Ball. That's an expiring deal. I mean, they need to get rid of that. And I think a guy that they need to draft here. I think they need to take a guard and at some kind. And I think they just need to get a guy that could probably defend and has a high ceiling. I mean, I'm gonna take Cody Williams out of Colorado. I think Cody Williams here, he's actually the younger brother of Jalen Williams, and Jalen Williams turned out to be actually a really nice player in this league, and he's probably gonna get even better as
Hmm.
his career. If Cody can play like just like half of how good Jalen is, I mean, this could be a great pick. I mean, we really didn't get to see his potential at Colorado because he was injured a lot. And it just really wasn't the best fit for him, to be honest with you. He could have gone like anywhere because he
Yeah.
was actually a top 10 recruit coming out of high school. So I just think that if he can play well for Chicago, I think if they give him a chance and he produces, it could be a good pick.
Yeah. And I'm not a huge fan of Cody Williams. My issue is he was very passive offensively, but I do think there's potential there, like you said. So at pick 11 on in a weak class, it's not a bad pick.
No,
In Chicago, I feel like they can afford a bit of a risk there
I
too.
think so
So
too.
I think that's a decent fit right there. So
I
pick
think so too.
12. Oklahoma City Thunder, and I think this is a perfect spot for Nikola Topic. Um, I think you just traded Josh Giddey. You got Shea and Cason Wallace and Alex Crusoe part of that backcourt. I think you could afford to go with another backcourt player, someone who might not be ready year one, and because of injury, Nikola Topic, I just think this is the ideal fit for him. He's able to develop and he's able to sit out the year to recover from his injury and then be ready in year two, like they did with Chet Holmgren, let him recover from his injury his rookie year. So I
Mhm.
really like Nikola Topic here. I think his best fits are either San Antonio or OKC, and in this case, OKC gets him. So I like that fit.
I like it too. I think, like you said, he can sit back and fully recover from that injury because of how much depth they have at the guard position,
Mhm.
and he could probably be like a better version of Josh Giddey. I mean,
Yeah.
like they traded him away, and then they get the better version of him. I mean, sign me up for that if I'm
Well,
OKC.
Sacramento Kings, man, pick 13. Who you got?
The Kings, okay, so the Kings, I think this is a team that I think they're pretty much like their starting five. I think is pretty much that, or their six man, because they're gonna re-sign Malik Monk, which is huge for them. To be
Mhm.
honest with you, he's an elite scorer off the bench, which is exactly what they need. And De'Aaron Fox is a star. Domantas Sabonis is a star. Um, Keegan Murray's solid. I mean, but can he be a three or a four? I don't know. I do think they need more wing depth. To be honest with you, I don't think Harrison Barnes is the long-term solution for this team, even though he is a nice piece. But I think this is a team that really needs some kind of wing, or they could take actually the best player available at the spot. Because they really don't have many needs. So I think they're gonna take a guy that really has a lot of upside and a guy that I actually really like a lot, and that's Bob Carrington of Pittsburgh. I think they can take a chance here on a guy like that. And Carrington had a really strong towards the end of the year with Pittsburgh, and I
Yeah.
think if he can be a backup point guard to De'Aaron Fox, I think it would be nice for him. There's really not a lot of pressure on him to start right away early, and I think you can really learn from him and become a good player in this league.
Yeah, and I'm a big Bub Carrington fan. He wasn't really the highest rated recruit, but he did really well at Pitt. I think
Yeah,
his first ever game he had a triple double or something crazy. And then like you said at the end of the year he was looking really good. So
mhm,
I'm a big fan of his. I have him slipping a couple picks later, but I definitely like this pick for the Kings, and I think he could be an absolute steal looking back at it.
I think so too. Yeah, I really like this guy a lot. I like him more than Jared McCain, and probably he could like Jared McCain could have probably gone there to Sacramento as well, but I really like Carrington more.
Yeah. Whew.
What
So
about Portland, man? Portland got a second pick in this
yeah,
round.
so earlier you had them taking Ron Holland. Um, and looking at this team, it's just they don't need a guard. They just took Scoot Henderson last year. They took Shaden Sharp the year prior. Uh
Mhm.
they already got Anthony Simons as well. So I
Yeah.
think they're good with guards. Definitely forwards and big men are kind of their biggest need because
Yeah.
not sure if DeAndre Ayton and Robert Williams is a recipe for success as the two big men. It just doesn't really balance out well. So I'm
I
looking at
agree.
a little big men or power forwards next to Ron Holland. And I'm not a fan of Zach Edey, and I think it might be a little too early for Cleo Ware. I'm looking at Tijani Salon as an
Okay.
option here. I'm not very high on him, but he's really climbing up a lot of draft boards as of late. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Salon here at pick 14, and
Okay.
you pair him up with Ron Holland. I mean, that gets the forwards in a decent spot for the future, at least potential wise.
Yeah. I think that it would definitely address a need, even though it's more of a risky pick. I think it's not a bad pick. To be honest with you, they really need to take some chances, and
Hmm.
hopefully some of them hit.
Yeah. So the Heat at pick 15, this is a team that has had a lot of success in the draft recently, getting
Mhm.
some absolute steals with Jaime
Jaquez.
Jaquez, Nikola Jovic looks
Hmm.
like a stud. Tyler Hero turned
Yeah,
out well. Who is gonna
yeah.
be the
Bam out of
next?
Iowa was a good pick too.
Yep. Who's
Yeah,
gonna be the
they
next steal for the Miami Heat?
think for Miami, I think they've been hitting on picks pretty well, and I think they're gonna take one of my favorite players in this draft, and that is Jacoby Walter out of Baylor. And Jacoby Walter is so talented. I mean, offensively, he can shoot the rock from. He can be a guy that can be like a 50-40-90 guy in this league. And in the Eric Spoelstra Heat system, I think he can really flourish
Yeah.
and thrive off that. I think he would be a perfect fit
I
for a team that is like a consistent playoff team and always a threat.
I
So I think
definitely
he'd fit in
am
perfect.
looking at guard here for them as well. You got Devin Carter as a possibility, Bub
Mhm.
Carrington, Jacoby Walter, Jared McCain, Isaiah Collier. I think those are kind of the five names to keep an eye on for the
Yeah,
Devin Carter and Bub Carrington are already gone in this draft. So I definitely could see Jacoby Walter as one of those options, which is a
yeah,
nice pick.
yeah. I think he's gonna be fantastic in this league, man. He's gonna be
Mhm.
solid.
Man, I'm the 76ers here, and for the 76ers, you got to look at either shooting guards, Isaiah Collier's an option, Tristan Da Silva's an option. But with how this draft's fallen, I think they're gonna go with Jared McCain and let him be paired up with Tyrese Maxey. I think that they still need some more backcourt help because Tyrese
Mhm.
Maxey right now is kind of their main reliable backcourt guy. They're fine
Yeah,
with big men with Embiid. Tobias Harris is gonna be gone soon.
I
I
think he'll be
only
gone too.
imagine, you know.
Possibly, maybe even Detroit signs him because they have a
Yeah,
ton of money to
so
spend.
you could see like a big man like Flop Flopikowski, but I'm not going with that bum. I'm going with the other Duke, the one that doesn't cry. I believe Jarrett
I,
McCain likes to paint his fingernails
he
red.
does, he does.
We're
Yeah, he
gonna
does.
go with
Like the
the
Caleb Williams. Oh,
fingernail painter over the crybaby,
yeah. At
Something's
least this guy can actually play. Like he's actually decent.
something is in the water here at Duke, and we're going with Mr. Fingernails, Jared McCain.
I like it. I like it. I actually am not opposed to this pick, honestly. I think it's
A little bit of a questionable character, but
yeah.
2024 people, we gotta be looking at Caleb Williams and Jared McCain as
Right.
humans.
Right. Number 17, the LA Lakers. Oh boy. I
Man,
mean,
I could go a
can I
couple.
have him take Bronny James? Bronny James here? I'm just kidding, man.
Where where is
God,
he? 54. I would not even rank him 54, but that's
I wouldn't
okay.
even draft him, to be honest with you. However, I mean, if here is a guy I would draft, it's actually his teammate, Isaiah Collier. I think would actually be a decent fit here, actually. I think because I'm not really a big fan of D'Angelo Russell. I think that if LeBron leaves, I think Isaiah Collier has top 10 upside in this draft class. I mean, he was the number one recruit coming out of high school. I mean, he has a very strong drive to the hoop, especially with the left hand. And I think if Isaiah Collier can stay healthy, I think he can be better than who they drafted last year, which was an awful pick. I'm not a big Jalen Hood Schifino fan
Mhm.
whatsoever. And I think that was a huge mistake there. And I think they're gonna make up for that and take Isaiah Collier here. I think it would be a great fit for them. And he would still stay in California. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. Collier's an option. You could also go with big man with Zach Edey, who I'm not a fan of, but I could
Not
see
a fan of his either.
that as an option, especially the Lakers love their big name guys. So like
Too.
Wapikowski, Edie are two options right there too. So but I
Mhm.
do like the Isaiah Collier fit.
Yeah, I think that would be the smart pick. All right, so the Magic. What do you have in
Yeah,
pick?
the Magic. I got word from a Magic fan that um they need shooting and there is
They're
one
right.
shooter in this draft that I'm a big fan of, and he's from Colorado. Tristan Da Silva, I think, would be a really good fit. For the Magic, Jet Howard, I'm not sure if that's the shooter of the future for
Oh,
the Magic. So I think Tristan Da Silva can be their spot up shooter guy. I was really impressed with him at Colorado. Actually, liked him more than Cody Williams
I did
while
too.
watching Colorado games. So gonna go with Tristan Da Silva at pick 18.
I think this is a good pick. I think this is a very good value pick right here.
Hmm.
And that you're right. The Magic definitely need shooting. And De Silva was actually Colorado's best player, one of their best players. I think him and KJ Simpson were the two best. And I agree for
Yeah.
sure. I like it. Toronto. All right, Toronto. I think they're taking a center here, and they need a big man. They could take their fellow Canadian Zach Edey. They could,
Hmm.
but I think they're gonna take somebody better. And they have a couple of options here. They have Edmisia of Baylor. They have Khalil Ware of India. And
Could go
my
with
pick,
Wapikowski, man.
they could take Kyle Filipowski, but
Wapikowski.
I don't think he goes to Toronto though.
I don't either.
I got him taking Khalil Ware. And
Wow.
I Khalil Ware, I think the difference between him and Ethan DC is his ability to space the floor. And I think that Khalil Ware could be a huge difference maker at the center position. If he can hit some threes at the NBA level, I think this could be a huge steal.
Yeah. I I personally have Evis Misi going to Toronto, but don't hate the Khalil Ware fit. I personally like him more than Zach Edey. So,
Oh, me too.
um, and him and Misi are pretty even in my eyes. I just think
I
Misi
think so
is
too.
gonna go to Toronto for some reason, but
That's fair. I
who
think he
knows?
could go there. I mean, they really are going to take a center at some point.
Hmm. So here I am with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Fanspo says they need big men. I think they're fine with big men. I think Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen are both decent. I think Darius Garland's gonna be gone here in the next few weeks. Um
You think about
and
Donovan Mitchell? You think
yesterday
he could be gone too?
yeah, yesterday I had Isaiah Collier going to the Cavaliers, and thanks a lot, Los Angeles Lakers GM right there, Bull. Um, I'm gonna call you out on your BS right there, Bull. So, um, because I wanted Collier in Cleveland, but man, I do not like Kolick being on the Cavs. I just don't see it.
We want to fit either.
Um,
And
there's
so
really no shooting
are they
guard.
they're
I
gonna
see.
take somebody to replace Donovan Mitchell if he goes? I mean he could be gone.
Yeah,
So
this
I've
is
heard
a tough spot for the Cavs, man,
yeah.
because I'll be honest, based on what I think is their need and how this draft has fallen, they're screwed. So we're just gonna go with the big man, Zach Edey, as I just think he'll be taken at some point. I don't agree with this pick for the Cavs. I think they need to focus on guards, but there's really no point guard I think is worth taking here except Kolick, and I just don't think it's
uh,
worth. I don't think he makes sense for Cleveland, so we're going with
yeah.
Zach.
Okay. Not bad. I mean
Mm-hmm.
They could do worse. I mean, they could
Yeah.
take Bronny James, and have LeBron go back to Cleveland.
Genius marketing. Let him go back to Cleveland for the third time.
Yeah, for the third time, though.
Third time's a charm, am I right?
Right? Yeah, you ain't wrong there. So we got the New Orleans Pelicans. Okay, New Orleans at the 21st pick. Okay. They already have Zion, Brandon Ingram. Is Brandon Ingram going to be gone, though? The question is
I
Brandon.
think he will.
Well,
I just
I think
don't
they
know.
trade. I think Valanciunas is gone. I think he's going to be gone.
I
Um,
agree there.
I think they're going to go with the center. I was like, you know what? They're going to either take Khalil Ware or Yves Missi. Whatever one Toronto doesn't take, that's going to New Orleans. And since I had them take Khalil Ware in Toronto, Yves Missi's going to New Orleans. And I think Yves Missi would be a great fit to replace Jonas Valanciunas. He has elite rim protection. As we saw at Baylor, he was a great shot blocker. You can finish around the rim. He shot a very high percentage inside the paint. Can finish some dunks inside. I think him and Zion inside, not bad. I mean, it would not be good floor spacing, but it wouldn't really matter because I think he's more of a defensive type of center,
Mhm.
and I think he could be a nice fit.
Yeah, I like that fit for the Pelicans. And here we are with the Phoenix Suns. And personally, if I'm the Suns, I'm trading back. You need picks. I think that this is their only pick till 2030 or
It
something
is.
crazy. Trade for second round picks in the future. Just rack up those second round picks because this team needs depth.
They
And
do.
yeah, you might not get a star in the second round, but if you rack up a few second round picks,
Maybe
that's
one of them will hit
possibly 2 to 3 good players in the
their
depth
bench. Yeah.
rotation. So that's what I would do personally.
Yeah.
But I don't think this Phoenix Suns owner is very smart. I think he's
He's
like,
not.
I want who I want right now. I've been hearing rumors about Bronny James. I'm not gonna mock that though. I think that would just be
Really
absolutely
not smart.
clown show behavior right
It
there.
would
But
be.
we're gonna go with another point guard. Since they do need a point guard, we're gonna go with one of the most NBA ready point guards. Very safe option. I said Cavs technically could take this guy, but I just couldn't see him being on the Cavs. We're going with the Suns taking Tyler Kolek from Marquette. I think this would be a good pick for them.
Yeah, I think Kolek is actually one of the very solid player at college in Marquette, and I think he was one of the top nation's leaders in assists. Actually, a very good decision maker, very good passer, and he would get after it. He'd even get after onto the last side, like you said. He even says that he averaged about 5 rebounds a game, so he was not afraid to get dirty and get after it on the boards, and actually a very solid shooter as well. Not a guy you can lay off of.
For
So I
sure.
think this would be a smart pick. But I don't think the Suns are that smart. So
I agree, but what are you gonna do?